small bustling market town of Stratford-upon-Avon, about 90 miles north of London, England. Let's go! We have arrived. The day is April 23rd, 1564.
And a new baby's lusty cries could be heard coming from a house on Henley Street. Let me introduce thee to the new proud parents, John Shakespeare and Mary Arden.
Hello, I am John Shakespeare. I am the mayor of Stratford-upon-Avon, and I'm also a glover. Here are the gloves I just made.
And I'm John's wife, Mary. And this is our newborn son, William.
Can't wait until William is old enough to go swimming and fishing with me in the Avon River. Maybe one day he will be a mayor just like me.
I hope that he will grow big and strong and will not be stricken with the plague which has killed so many babies.
Here to tell you about this horrible pestilence is Dr. Richard Johnson.
Hi, my name is Dr. Richard Johnson. I am here today to answer your questions.
What causes the Black Plague?
Unfortunately, we still aren't certain to what causes the plague. However, it is my belief that people are becoming ill by breathing in dirty, stinky air.
What are some of the symptoms that we should be looking out for?
One of the most common symptoms is buboes, large, painful bumps on the body. Patients with the plague run high fevers, have nausea, and are often delirious.
What can we do to protect ourselves from the bubonic plague?
Everyone should stay quarantined and make sure that if you do leave your house, you bring along your pomade ball. Anyone else? Well, if there are no more questions, I will be off to my next patient. Don't worry, it's me, Dr. Johnson. I'm here to take care of you. First, I'll sprinkle just a little bit of this unicorn powder on you. Unicorn powder is very expensive because it has to come from a real unicorn. Next, I will rub this dead chicken on your forehead. This should make you feel better. I guess we will have to use these leeches. Let me put these on you so that they can suck out all the bad blood. You should feel better in no time. Keep this pomade ball with you so you can smell these lovely spices and herbs and not the stinky air.
Luckily, William's family was spared. After William, John and Mary had 5 more healthy children. When he was 5 years old, Will had an experience he would never forget. Here's young Willie to tell you about it.
Today's a really special day. I'm going with my father to see my very first play. Since my father is mayor, we are going to get front row seats. I'm so excited. I've been jumping up and down all day like a kangaroo. I just saw the beautiful costumes and interesting props. Maybe I'll be an actor when I grow up, but first I have to go to school. I am Dame Judith, William's teacher when he attended Petty School. Petty School is a place where boys and girls go when they're very young. I teach them the ABCs with my horn book. I also teach them how to read and write and all about proper manners. When William was 7, he went to King Edward VI Grammar School.
I am Master Jones, William's teacher at King Edward VI Grammar School, which is quite different from KBA. For example, we only have one room with rows of benches for my pupils. Our school day is much longer than the days at KBA, and I only allow my students to speak Latin. I believe that the best way to instruct students is with much repetition and harsh discipline. Now, I bet you'd like to hear about school from a student's viewpoint, so here is Richard Field, William's best friend and classmate.
Will and I got into so much trouble together at school. I bet you would too, because Master Jones was so strict. We would be punished for the smallest thing. If we laughed or didn't pay attention, Master Jones would give us the scariest look, and he would scold us. If we misbehaved again, we would have to stay after school and copy pages and pages of writing. This punishment was one of the worst punishments because the school day was already so long. School started at 6 o'clock in the morning and ended at 5 o'clock in the evening. Will and I hated when we had to stay after school, but there was one punishment that was even worse. If a student misbehaved for a third time, the schoolmaster would hit him on the behind with a birch rod, and the two biggest students would hold him down. I had that punishment once, and I couldn't sit down for a few days.
I think these good people would like to know what we girls were doing while the boys were in grammar school.
While our brothers got to go to school and learn how to read, we were busy all day with cleaning
And cooking
and mending.
and watching our baby brothers and sisters.
After I graduated from grammar school when I was 16, I wanted to attend Oxford University in London, but my dad had a bit of bad luck and was in debt, so instead I helped him make fancy gloves.
I grew up to be quite an attractive young man. Many young ladies liked my company. I met the girl of my dreams. Here she is, my precious fair-faced wafer cake, Anne Hathaway.
How could I resist, Will? Oh, William, how I love going on walks with you.
How sweet of you to say that. Your eyes glow like the stars in the sky.
Your words are so beautiful.
I have something to say to you. Will you marry me?
Yes, yes, yes.
William and Anne moved in with us. Within a few years, they had 3 children.
Susanna was the oldest, then came twins Hannah and Judith. With our own children of Williams, there were 12 of us living in the same house. There was so much noise, one couldn't think.
I needed more money to support my family, so I got a job as a local schoolmaster, but I really didn't want to be a teacher. I was fascinated with the actors that came to perform. I began to dream of going to London to find work in the theater. My wife was not happy.
He was leaving me and our children. How would you feel? I was so upset, but he packed his bags and so I kissed us goodbye and started off for London.
Will left home, much to Anne's disappointment. He headed off to London with hopes of making a better future for his family.
Meanwhile, Anne and their children continued to live in Stratford-upon-Avon with William's parents.
It took me several days to arrive in London. Luckily, I didn't need to use my sword to fight off highwaymen. When I finally got to London, I couldn't believe my eyes, especially when I saw the London Bridge. It's bigger than I could have ever imagined. There are over 200 homes and shops, even a church right on the bridge. The passageway is so crowded, it is difficult to walk across. The most shocking part of all was the heads of traitors were displayed upon the gate of the London Bridge.
Children, look, we got a letter from your father. Yay! Mommy, please read it to us now. Don't make us wait. Dear Anne, it took me a few days to make it to London, but here I am. The town is bursting with life. It is very busy here and a lot dirtier than I expected. I finally found a place in a small town called Shoreditch, just outside of London. Now I'm spending my time looking for a job. I wish I could find an acting job, but it seems like I will have to start on the bottom and work my way up. Please tell the children I love them and give them kisses for me. You're always William.
I'm James Burbage, the star of all the playhouses in London. Some believe I gave William Shakespeare his start in London. I hired him to take care of the horses of the wealthy people while they came to watch a performance at my playhouse. I soon realized there was something special about the young man. Before long, Will was acting in the plays and also writing plays for our company to perform.
William first became a successful actor. He learned what made a play popular. Soon he was writing plays that people loved. Most of his ideas came from the Greek and Roman writers he studied in grammar school, but he added exciting new twists. He wrote 3 main types of plays to entertain the audience: comedies, tragedies, and histories. Flags flew over the theater when there was going to be a play that day. If the white flag was flying, the play was going to be a comedy to make thee laugh. If the black flag was flying, the play would be a tragedy to make thee cry. And if there was a red flag flying, the play was a history of English kings and queens and full of wars and battle scenes. Today, William Shakespeare's plays are performed all over the world, even at KBA. We interrupt this program for a brief viewing of some of Shakespeare's most beloved plays.
Welcome to Kita Gimel Shakespeare in the parking lot.
To be or not to be? That is the question.
Double, double, toil and trouble. Double, double, toil and trouble.
Hee-haw, 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 hee-haw.
Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? A horse, my kingdom for a horse.
Okay, let's get back to business. Here is Nick Tooley to tell you more about acting with the Lord Chamberlain's men. I'm Nick Tooley and I'm 10 years old. I act in William Shakespeare's company, which is called the Lord Chamberlain's Men. We're the best in London. Didn't you know only boys and men were allowed to act in the plays? So boys like me will play the parts of girls until our voices change. We were all dressed up in wigs and makeup. The hardest part was learning my lines. Mr. Burbage is teaching me all I need to know. If the audience didn't like the performance, they'll throw apples and pears and nuts. But our plays are super popular. Even Queen Elizabeth loves them.
I love music, I love dance, poetry, and especially plays. The young playwright William Shakespeare came to my attention. Of course, I would never go to the theater, so I invited William to perform for me at my palaces.
I was honored to perform my plays for the Queen. Finally, I was making money just sent home to Anne and the children. Audiences were crazy about our plays. Nothing could stop us except the Black
In
Death.
1593, the plague struck again. All the theaters were forced to shut down, so William went home to Stratford-upon-Avon to spend time with his family and write. Susanna was almost 10, and Hamnet and Judith were 8. William loved being with his family, but a little over a year later, he was back in London.
I am Richard Burbage, James' son. Our theater was doing great until 1598, when the lease for the land ran out. We couldn't afford the new rent, so my brothers Cuthbert came up with a plan.
During the cover of night, a group of us, including William, took apart the theater, timber by timber. It wasn't hard. Because these oak beams were connected by wooden pegs, we loaded everything on a boat and floated the pieces across the Thames to Bankside, where we had leased cheap land.
We built ourselves a new playhouse out of the old timbers. It was circular in shape and 3 stories tall. It could hold 2,500 spectators.
We named it the Globe because all the world's a stage.
The Globe was an instant success when it opened in 1599. Everyone, from the elegant gallants to the poor groundlings, loved coming in the afternoon. In fact, they can tell you about it themselves.
I am a groundling. I pay 1 penny to see a show at the Globe Theater. I have to stand the whole time because I can't afford to pay more for a seat. Us groundlings stand near the stage and there is no roof over us. If we don't like the show, We let the actors know by throwing fruits and nuts at them.
Thou filthy groundling, thou greasy, dog-hearted eggshell! Shoo! 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 Hello, I am Miguel. I often come to the Globe Theater to watch the shows and also to show off my beautiful clothes. Of course, I pay extra for a bench with a cushion. I sit under the roof so I am protected. I really enjoy seeing William Shakespeare shows.
Queen Elizabeth died at the age of 70 in the year 1603. She ruled for 45 years and was enormously popular. The new King James Love plays also. He renamed William's players as the King's Men and invited them over to play at Whitehall Palace about 200 times. Everyone in London knew who William Shakespeare was. The Globe was packed with noisy and excited playgoers nearly at every performance. Then tragedy struck on a sunny afternoon in June of 1613.
Hi, I'm Molly, reporting live from London, England with breaking news. A tragic fire has completely destroyed the famous Globe Theatre this afternoon. It happened during today's showing of Henry VIII. Fortunately, everyone made it out of the theater safely. Oh, look, there's William Shakespeare right now. Mr. Shakespeare, Mr. Shakespeare, would you mind answering a few questions? Please tell us what happened.
When the cannon was fired, sparks flew up to the thatched roof, which immediately burst into flames.
Mr. Shakespeare, why was that cannon fired today at the Globe?
The cannon was being used as a prop in Henry VIII and was not supposed to set off any sparks.
How are you feeling right now?
I am certainly thankful that everyone made it out of the theater, but honestly, I'm just devastated.
That is understandable. We are all wishing you the very best. Here is gallant Henry Sackville's wife. Mrs. Sackville, tell us about your experience today.
Oh, it was most dreadful. My husband's pants caught fire, which was put out by a dirty groundling.
Well, we are glad that you both made it out safely.
I'm Susanna, William and Anne's oldest child. They rebuilt the Globe the following spring, but after 30 years in London, my father was ready for a quieter life. He returned back to Stratford-upon-Avon, where he had bought the second finest house we called New Place. It had beautiful gardens where he could enjoy the company of family and friends. Of course, he missed my brother Hamnet, but my little daughter Elizabeth gave him great pleasure. My father died on his 52nd birthday. However, he is kept alive through his poetry and plays, which will be studied and performed for generations to come. The Avon wept 1,000 tears without her loving friend. The very flowers hung their head as though it were that.
Yes, at that time, whilst gentle soul did mark its final page, the curtain closed and William Shakespeare exited the stage.
Wow, it's good to be back at KBA. We hope you enjoyed this journey. Thank you for